Okay, we're going to take just a minute on 53 here and look and see if we can't play this game. It's a little bit tricky because you probably don't think there's anything you can do. All of the trig equate functions are sine or cosine and really nothing to switch, so getting started is kind of a tricky thing. What I would like to direct your attention to is if you have 1/3 added to a fraction of 2/3, you could say that's 1 plus 2 over 3. Well, if you can go that direction, then you can take 1 plus 2 over 3 and call it 1/3 plus 2/3. You could undo that. Now, you don't usually think about undoing that way, so that's what we want to focus on here. What I'm allowed to do on this problem number 53 is separate that back into two separate functions, or two separate fractions, excuse me. Cosine squared of theta over sine of theta cosine of theta minus sine squared of theta over sine of theta cosine of theta. So when we do that, what we look at is as cosine squared is just a fancy way of saying cosine times cosine. And sine squared is just a fancy way of saying sine times sine. So what we'll find out is that one of these cosines cancels with one of those cosines, one of these sines cancels with one of those sines, and I'm really just left with then cotangent minus tangent. And that was our target on 53. Okay, so let's look at 63 here. The first thing you'll notice is that on 63, if you're looking at the paper, it says tangent of S, cotangent of S, plus cosecant of S. Please don't let that fact I've changed this to theta instead of S bother you. Anytime we have a variable after a trig function, it's an angle. And if I write S's, you're going to think they're 5s. I don't want to confuse you with that, so I just changed it back to theta. Let's play the game. First of all, we probably want to switch tangent to sine and cosine. Cotangent to cosine over sine. And cosecant to 1 over sine. We have some real good news here. It's got a common denominator already. Inside the parentheses, there's sine in both denominators. So if I just rewrite this, we can make this a single fraction. And at this point, I can actually see that I am multiplying a sine and dividing a sine, so that would cancel. And therefore, let me resize this a little bit. Well, that didn't work. Let's try and do that best job we can here. Okay. And therefore, I have cosine of theta plus 1 over cosine of theta. And now, just like that last problem, this isn't really intuitive, but I'm going to split this into two separate fractions. I'm going to call it the cosine of theta over the cosine of theta plus 1 over the cosine of theta. And now you can see that cosine divided by cosine is actually 1, and I bet we recognize that 1 over cosine is secant. So our target is 1 plus secant of theta on number 63. Okay? Okay, just briefly, wanted to remind you of a few things. Know the strategy, that switching things to sine and cosine, and start playing the game. And know the fundamental identities that we put on the board from class. Please practice numbers 39 to 71. And that is a lot of problems, but odds, I should say. That is a lot of problems, but really these are kind of foreign, and each one is different, so the more you can do, the better off you will be. 39 to 71 odds, and let me know, either in class or via email, one that you're struggling with. Maybe I can help work it out for you and send it back to you in an email. But really, you only get better at these by struggle, by learning it, by practicing, and be glad to help you, but don't avoid them. Put in some time and practice these a little bit. All right? Let me know what I can do to help. Send me an email if you need help with any of these. Thanks.